James Smith, the General Manager of I4Advantage. I'm welcoming you to the mind map of a modern world that will show you the high, big picture ground that can be used to assess exactly where you are. If you're a top performer, you may well already recognize some of these things that I present moderately, but there's a bigger picture that these show that provides a context, that provides something similar to the weight of power behind the edge that you're already great at. If you have a leadership position and you have a lower performing team, this kind of a context can set the organizational standard for your group and help those low performers to achieve by applying what they already know, but are having a challenge applying in a way that gives them much more power, much more cut to their cutting edge, and helps them to have all the motivation to do it sharper and do it with more precision than ever before. I've taken the information that is so relevant and available, such as Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Tony Robbins' 6 Human Needs, Maslow's 5 Hierarchy of Needs, and I've put everything into a modern map that hasn't existed before, of 4 modern maps. One about how we move, another about the mystery of dealing with social conflict with others in a way that rises our level to a higher game, so that when we do win or lose, we're winning more, and everybody is actually still coming out ahead. Even if in some level they may have lost an advantage, they've actually got more of a bigger pie. So that's great. A mind map, which is different than what you're used to in mind mapping, that shows where you are in your world, so that wherever you're moving, whatever you're relating to, whether you're relating to people, other people, whether you're relating to things that we transform, or whether you're relating to money that is unique in the universe, or whether you're relating to your own personal energy and your drive and your desire to get to where you want to be, or to be who you really are, these maps can help. And finally, deal with our mind, so that what's going on inside of us can be linked very directly to what we're trying to achieve outside. So those are the 4 maps. There's a map of motion, there's a map, what I call mystery, social theory of relativity, and there's the map that shows us exactly where we're taking all of our energy and how our little moves are working in the big picture, and then how to really think about it. I call it integrate, I-N-T-O-G-R-E-A-T. It's integration. It's a synergy that comes by adding things together which naturally fit together but haven't yet been put together. And this is what my work has been for the past 14 years. Thank you for joining me on this less than 15-minute video presentation. So what we start with first is the motion map. And this includes all the great people that I already mentioned, plus thousands more. We move in a very similar way to the way a child builds a jigsaw puzzle. We have an outside frame of direction, and then we move in that direction. Others move with us, and some resist us. As we create this frame, inside we have a picture, a vision of the way we want our life to be, and that's our strategic plan. There are thousands of psychologists, physicists, doctors, sociologists, martial arts people, cultural leaders that fit in here. Spiritual leaders fit in here, and they all talk about one part or another. So when you hear them talking, you'll know that they are giving a direction on the motion map. How should we move? How do we want to move? How is the best way to move? For example, in direction, our goals, what we want, you can go everybody from Stephen Covey to Freud to Jung to Robbins, of course. There's Kurt Lewin. There are actually millions of people who come to mind in this area. Then when we start to move, we get into the technology of movement, the physics of it, the Einsteinian, the Newtonian moves, the martial arts moves, the dance moves that get us into a flow, and that helps with positive psychology and Csikszentmihalyi. When we start moving with others, it's about our culture. And who do we have on our side? And how do we know they're on our side? And how do we know where they think we are on their side? And how do we build that relationship so that we really harmonize and resonate with one another toward a goal? How far can we go? And where are we at now? Those things are really important. Barrett, Dov Seidman, John Mackey, Stephen Covey, Ken Blanchard, all deal in these kind of areas. In the resistance area with social conflict, whether you're talking Morton Deutsch, the father of modern conflict sociology, or you're talking Urian Fisher's interest-based bargaining, these people all fit on it. And then the strategic plan, the picture we're building, our living experiment, it's a matter of our vision, our action, and our outcomes. If they align, there's integrity. And this is map number 1, We're Born Moving. I cover all this in a book called Executive Education for Everyone. And actually I've written all 4 of these maps up, plus Executive Education for Everyone. It is available at Amazon.com, and I hope you'll take a look at it there. The first chapter is totally free, so you'll get a great idea on exactly how these came to be, how we know they're true, how you can prove if they're not true, and the difference that they make in your overall performance. Even if you know these other teachers, this adds a tremendous weight by integrating them all for you. The next thing is the mystery of social conflict. I have a PhD, and you can get a PhD for studying how cats migrate. My PhD was earned by adding something to the field of social conflict, which was understanding how power balance leads to a better outcome for all. They have to structure conflict right. You have a goal, somebody else wants that goal. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a President of the United States. The difference is power balances in pursuit of that goal. Between the people who are after that goal, the goal itself increases. So what's power imbalance? I recognize 5 powers very quickly. Those are physical power to move and to associate. Those are financial power to pay your way, to pay others to help you in many different ways. It's information power, being an expert in what your area is. It's also the legitimate power of the ability to have legitimacy informally and formally in society. And then finally, the power of respect, that others respect you. And when all of those are even, then whatever goal you're after, whether it's market share, the market's going to grow. Whether it's president of a nation, it's going to be a much stronger nation. The theory of social relativity, the premise is empirically shown, and in the book it is very clear, that as power balances between people in pursuit of a rival goal, the value of the goal increases. So much so that whatever power difference is lost, it's gained in value. So it's great for people who want to be wealthy, don't want to have to give anything up, but want others to be able to be wealthy too. And as they have the opportunity to be wealthy in that particular area, that whole area will grow. So if you have 90% right now of $1 million market, you've got $900,000. But if the market grows and you have 50% of $1 billion market, you've got $500 million. Huge difference. That's the social theory of relativity. We change those individual efforts into measurable, distinctive, tangible results. Now, high power variation is when somebody has all the power. They have all the physical power and can dominate anybody and make them do what they want. They have all the money, so to speak, and all the access to capital, and others don't. They know the information, and they may have it classified or secured under some secure wrap, so only they have access to it. And also, they have all the legitimacy. They're the only ones recognized by the powers and authority and by the people as a whole, who may or may not agree, but this is the way they've been taught, to recognize and to look to them as the experts. And so they have tremendous moral suasion. They have tremendous access to the media. And finally, when it comes to respect, they respect themselves much more than anybody else. So they have all the power. Drop off. That's this high power differential, and it really leads to a very low performance overall in whatever the goal is that they're seeking. So their nation will be smaller, the market share will be smaller, the expertise and growth curves will be much less. If they come to the point of where they can no longer physically control people and they just have more control over the money, the information, and the legitimacy, then the other people, the other challengers in pursuit of that goal are going to rise up, and they're going to start getting more power. They're going to find ways to get their money so that they can capitalize their projects and compete, and they're also going to get more legitimacy because they're going to be doing better, and they'll lobby on their own behalf. And suddenly the market begins to grow in this second area. And then finally, once the very best players arise, and not everybody's the best player where they're at, they may have to move to another area, get on a different team, and things have to reorganize. But in all of that, the values are going up and down. It's a variable sum game. However, it's much more valuable than this relatively negative sum game. Once they get to the top, what I would call the Olympics of their particular industry, their particular expertise, their particular gift, they are so strong that they sit with mutual respect and are watching one another, learning from one another, and moving everything forward in a true win-win situation. So here you've got a negative sum game as one gains power relative to the other. Since it's relative, they have to lose. The other side has to lose power, but they don't lose things, they don't lose quality, they don't lose quantity of life. What they lose is just relative to the others, and everybody gets to grow. That's the theory of social relativity, built on some of the 5 of the best conflict management theorists and practitioners who've changed our world and will continue to help us understand as we develop. Next is this map. Whatever we do on a map that has 10 different dimensions.